Well, what is up, all of you Ugnaughts and Jawas out there? This is Mando Talk, and we are officially 1 week away from Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and we have finally reached the conclusion of our Rewatch series. We watched Chapter 8, Redemption, tonight from Season 1. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I can't even speak.
I think you said it right the first time. Right?
Did I?
Yeah, you said it right the first
Phenomenal.
time. But you can keep trying. It's kind of funny.
Phenomenal finale.
I was going to point out, too, I think we've opened, like, the past, all of them, episodes with you and Nolan giggling. So
We're just having a good time, you know?
I've come to expect it. So
BA,
hey,
welcome back.
Thanks,
Okay,
man.
it's great to have you. Like, you're officially a co-host at this point.
Yeah, I would consider
Like-
both of our other
Sorry, you're
frequent
just-
members a
if
co-host.
one of us can't be here, and I'm talking about Jacob, then, you know, the other one steps in. We kind of
think-
pick up the
yeah,
slack for
I
each
think
other.
they are here just as much as I am, if not more.
I would say so. I mean, it's pretty, kind of even.
Host, 3 co-hosts. So,
Well,
but my name's Nolan Ferris. Thanks for introducing me.
did I
and I'm
introduce
back.
myself?
I'm back
I
here
don't
today, doing this
they know who
podcast.
you guys are at this point.
Caleb Keller, Nolan Ferris, Brandon Anderson. We're going to dig into it. Having a lot of fun tonight. Mandalorian focused. There wasn't, well, obviously there was a big thing that happened this week.
Yeah.
The Monday Night Football special look. And we released a YouTube video of giving my initial reaction. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. And I kind of lay it out there. And honestly, there's not that much else to take away from it except what I said in that video.
Right.
So there wasn't a ton in the special look except the one line where Din Djarin says that he's trying to find other Mandalorians. I thought that was really interesting, but outside of that, there wasn't anything new in that special look except that one line, in my opinion, unless I completely missed something. Did y'all see anything that y'all want to talk about before we kind of move into our rewatch, or just kind of, I'll just open this up because I've given my 6-minute spiel and I wanted to give y'all a chance to do it.
One thing that I took from it is, man, I mean, I'm just super excited for next Friday.
Yes.
And I know I didn't want to see anything that would lead me on a little bit, and I haven't. So congrats to Disney and Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni for giving us the right amount. I feel very good with going into season 2. My expectations, I think, are in line with hopefully what we're going to get.
Right.
They're not too high. They're not too low. They're sort of. I'm very excited for it. So
yeah, I was thinking that you were gonna kind of actually enjoy the special look because it
I
literally gave nothing
It
except
didn't.
that one line. Like,
no, it just pumps you up even more and gets you ready to
Yeah.
see more of the Mandalorian
Now,
and Din Djarin.
the
and
music
the child.
in the trailer was knocked
Yes.
out of the park. Like, I could listen to that all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
BA, what any other thing you want to kind of add to it?
I'm with you guys. I don't think they added a lot to, you know, expectations and hype with it being so close. I think more or less it was a reminder. But there was also something else that was released that day that's a lot of hype that Mando Talk released. You want to talk a little bit
That's
about
true. So on that same date, and we talked about it in last week's podcast episode, we've got a giveaway going on. We got it on both Facebook and on Twitter at Mando Talk. On both of those, you can find our giveaway. So our giveaway includes a Funko Pop bobblehead of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, with the child. Super sweet, super slick. It's the only one that I could personally find where we were at, so it's a great one to have. You get that. You get a Mando Talk hat, a Mando Talk shirt, a Mando Talk sticker, and Nolan said, you get to be on the show.
Yeah,
so
why
we
not?
just went ahead and added that to it. So that's a lot of different things there that you could possibly get in on, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. We've gotten pretty good interaction on Twitter, and one of the requirements is that you share your favorite Star Wars memory. It's been really cool reading those, so keep sending those in. It's really fun to read those in the middle of the week while the busy work week is going on, and it's just really happy to kind of see them. And you know what? Something that I would like to do is I would like to have a show where we read those maybe once. Like, we run through them, we share our favorite memories, and we read the Twitter responses, Facebook responses of their favorite Star Wars memories.
We could make a another Mando mini talk just doing that
Yeah.
and going over and kind of bonding with you guys out there, our fan base. So
Yeah. So, and then the last thing I think that I have to say about it, other than make sure you keep doing it and you get involved if you haven't already. The deadline for that is October 30th. We're going to announce the winner next week on our podcast.
After our review.
After and while we do our review for the first episode of Season 2. So a lot going on right now. Keep doing it. Keep checking us out.
Yeah,
Mando Talk, at Mando Talk on Twitter and Facebook.
And thanks to everybody that has already entered and for sharing our page. It's really helping us grow our family and all the Mando talkers out there. So,
Man, that just gave me a tear.
The one thing I want to add too, it's just, and like you were saying, Keller, it's interesting just to see how Star Wars has influenced people in different ways. But
Yeah. So, yeah, I've gotten some, like, movie memories specific.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten, like, life memories. Like, the big thing is, like, just sharing the experience with family.
Yeah.
And I've even seen pictures of families sent in of the Star Wars love getting passed on. It's just cool to see.
Yeah.
it's awesome.
It's cool to see, like, positive of Star Wars, because usually you only hear the negative online.
Right.
So keep sending them in at Mando Talk, Facebook, Twitter, so you can win all of that cool and free stuff. So we are going to go ahead and wrap this rewatch series up with Chapter 8. By far my favorite. After the second time we've done this now, it's my favorite one of the whole season. And I know we did this the last time we watched it, and I'm putting you on the spot, but do y'all give it the favorite slot for Season 1 before we dig into this, or do we still prefer Chapter 7 or Chapter 3? Because I believe those are the other two that we're all really on board with.
I think it's my
Yeah.
favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's my favorite
There's just so much going on from start to finish.
Yeah.
We may have said it before. It's been almost a year now,
A year,
but
yeah.
there's no real lulls in the episode. Like you
No,
always feel
there's
like
not.
on the edge of your seat, like tense about what's going to happen next.
Yeah, now let's just go ahead and get into it. The first thing that I really enjoyed was the opening. I forgot how funny that whole sequence with the two scout troopers was, and they've got the child, they've taken him, and man, he gets punched a few times, and once
Yeah,
really,
3 or 4
really
times,
good, which was very hard to see. But these scout troopers, the best part was when they got their pistols out, and they were completely whiffing on the target that they were trying to hit.
Yeah, try to blame it on the blaster at the
And
end.
that's-
shaking
Storm.
And that's
Storm
such
militia.
a Star Wars, like, funny out there that just happens in all the movies. And it's just fun to see.
I was going to say, at this point, it's canon, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Stormtroopers can't shoot. Except, hopefully, they start making the Death Troopers legit.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a little bit of that in this episode. And I'm hoping we see Death Troopers some more in Season 2. But anyway, love the opener, and let's get into it. The biggest thing that I took away right at the start, Moff Gideon's closed in. We get more Din Djarin history. And I don't know if we forgot about this, but I feel like we were talking about it a couple weeks ago where we couldn't remember if Din was born on Mandalore or not.
Right.
Well, we're given as a fact from his mouth that he was not born on Mandalore in this episode. And the great quote, Mandalorian isn't a race, it's a creed.
It's a creed.
Loved that. Death Watch, and this is kind of my first question for us to have. Whenever he's saying all of that, he goes back into a flashback. We see the rest of that scene play out when he was a kid. The Death Watch arrived to save him as the Separatist army is attempting to just wipe out all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is, why was the Death Watch there? And I saw some subtle hints that, to me, it made me think that they were specifically there for Din.
Like a rescue mission.
Right, because there's like some head nods between them, and after that head nod, they get Din out of there, and that's really the end of the mission. They're not really concerned with anything else. Thoughts on that? Because I don't think that's something that I really considered the first time that I viewed it, but just any general thoughts on, number one, the theory of them actually being there to specifically get Din and really nobody else, and just thoughts on the flashback scene in general.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that they were there just for Din. I think they were just there as mercenaries,
Okay.
possibly. Like what's the mercenary Mandalorian in the Clone Wars?
The mercenary Mandalorian in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, the one that carries the darksaber.
Oh, Pre Vizsla.
Yes, like Pre Vizsla.
Okay.
And that's the sense that I got, that they're just there to help. And I think when they rescued Din, they knew that they needed to get him out of there, so they're taking him to kind of their camp or whatever, or their ship.
See, in the Clone Wars, the Death Watch is depicted as a very evil clan. Like, they're very against Satine's rule of Mandalore, which Satine is Obi-Wan's girl. So, yeah, I don't really know Death Watch's motives here. It's really interesting because from the past watching Clone Wars, they've always been viewed evilly, but now they're actually doing something good by saving Din Djarin. BA, kind of, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, if they were there on like this mercenary mission to save these people, they may have seen Din's parents get murdered and think that he's around the age where we start training Mandalorians, and if they're not a race, and then they survive on these younglings and bringing them in and training them, so maybe they just saw an opportunity.
Yeah, they see it as an opportunity to grow their clan. I can see that,
right?
Because there didn't appear to be any other kind of young individuals or boys or girls around in that moment. So yeah, that's a very good possibility. And inside this, we also get more info on Moff Gideon that I couldn't even keep up with, honestly. Like, there's so much there where Din Djarin somehow knows who Moff Gideon is, and I guess it's because
IBS or ISB
something
officer.
Okay, I think I remember something along those lines. What does that mean? Is my question. Like,
ISB officer on Mandalore is what he said.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think we've speculated about this before.
It also said he had war crimes, so
yeah,
that was interesting.
Because Cara thought that he was dead, thought that he had been executed.
During the Night of 1,000 Tears is what I was curious about.
Oh yeah, talk about that possibly.
So I'm assuming that's in the Great Purge, when they're talking about the Night of 1,000 Tears. Maybe that's the first night that the Empire invades and starts taking over Mandalore again. That's kind of what I'm assuming, but I'm not real sure. But that is the kind of stuff that I want to know more about.
Yeah, and while we're talking about Moff Gideon, I was expecting to see him in that trailer that we got on Monday. We haven't seen anything. Giancarlo Esposito talks a lot, but we sure don't see him.
Yeah, he does.
But Moff Gideon's background is really interesting, and he was on Mandalore. We got that fact in this episode, but is he or is he not Mandalorian? I guess that's something to consider.
He said he wasn't from there, but Mandalorian isn't a race. It's a creed.
And that's something that I gotta keep reminding myself.
He was not born on Mandalore.
Okay, but he was just working there, so that's how those two know each other.
Right.
Okay, so I'm glad we're clearing this stuff up before the next season.
Let me pose a question. You said that we haven't seen really any trailers with Moff Gideon in it.
Yeah.
Would you guys be severely disappointed if he wasn't in this season? Have we ruled out that possibility?
Well, we know he's in it because of some pictures.
Okay.
But just to answer your question, I would be severely disappointed if he was not in this season.
We get a whole season of side quests. That would be kind of a bummer, I think.
Absolutely.
Just playing devil's advocate, boys.
It's not going to happen. Don't worry,
Nolan
guys.
would check out.
Yeah.
I would be a little disappointed in that. However, we do see in the trailer the folding X-Wing.
The folding TIE Fighter.
TIE Fighter, sorry.
All good, man.
The X-Wings always fold, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so we do see the folding TIE Fighter. One thing I noticed in this last episode, Chapter 8, which is called the... Redemption. Yeah, Redemption. We get to see an up-close look at some of the details in a TIE Fighter that we don't really get to see much in movies and stuff like that.
True.
Like, you get to see the inside of the wings and how they're attached and just the construction of them, and I thought that was really cool. Like an up-close look at a TIE Fighter, which we really don't ever get to see. You know, we get to see the X-Wings because, we see Luke and flying in them and everything. So
I would say before this, probably the most that we got of TIE Fighters was when Poe stole it in the opening of The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
which
Poe and Finn.
I guess they're different TIE fighters at that point. Like, do they still fold? Or when did the TIE fighters even start folding is my question.
This is before The Force Awakens.
Right.
So, maybe they always had.
This is very much still an Imperial-looking TIE fighter compared to the First Order. First Order's got, like, all black and a red paint stripe going down the side.
Mm-hmm.
And when we see the First Order TIE fighters, they're, like, parked in little spots inside their destroyers. So those we haven't seen fold, but I don't know. Maybe it's just something cool that they throw in. Because if we think back to the first trailer, though, isn't there multiple TIE fighters that are folding like that?
I believe so, yeah.
What if it's just like an Inquisitor TIE fighter? Because we've speculated that Moff Gideon's an Inquisitor. And those in the past, so referencing Star Wars Rebels, the animated show, they've had different TIE fighters. So maybe that's just a Inquisitor thing. They get to trick out their own TIEs a little bit.
So, like,
I don't know.
I guess it would be like a Kylo Ren TIE fighter, but
there you go.
And Darth Vader's TIE fighter is a little different.
Right.
They run into Exhibit from MTV from years ago. You remember that? Pimp My Ride?
I remember Pimp My Ride.
Yeah. They let him trick out their TIE fighters for him.
He's like, welcome on today. We're on an Imperial destroyer.
Hands him their keys.
What would you do if you could deck out your own TIE fighter?
I mean, probably have folding wings. I think they got it right.
I'm trying to think of something that's like
doors.
completely.
Because I still stand by. I don't think we've seen them land before
like
Moff Gideon did. Yeah, usually they're crashed or blown up, right?
Push to start.
Push to start.
For when it's cold inside in the vacuum of space, you don't want to go out, so you start it.
Heated joysticks and seats.
I would
air
just make
conditioned
sure
seats.
that it's got a sweet sound system. You know, I'd be bumping throughout space.
Like, Bose or JBL.
There you go.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Listen,
Sony's.
Moff Gideon, I can't wait to see him some more in Season 2. We're definitely getting it. Ignore BA's comment there. We're getting it, guys. Don't panic.
Yeah. My heart skipped a beat when you said that.
But it is
a whole season of side missions.
It is
Crap.
interesting, though, that we haven't seen him as far as a video goes. We have seen Entertainment Weekly pictures of him, and man, he's talking a lot. And we can't forget that he also said something in an interview recently where him and Mando fight. Something along those lines, wasn't it?
Let me remind you guys, before Season 1 came out, we didn't know there was a child of Baby Yoda species. So let's just keep that in the back of our minds as we're speculating. And there's probably some kind of twist that's just going to blow us away.
Probably.
And I hope that there is.
I hope. And I hope that it wasn't the Ahsoka and Boba Fett stuff, because I
don't think that's going to be that big. I don't think I don't think it's going to be a big part of the show.
I think it's going to be like a one episode thing for the both of them.
Both of them.
Boba Fett may be somewhere in the middle of the season, but I think Ahsoka might be at the end to where it teases her more heavily in the next season.
I don't think Boba Fett will be in there
at all.
I think his armor will be.
Okay.
I don't think Boba Fett will be in there as Boba Fett.
I like that idea.
Captain Rex might be there.
Okay.
Tamara Morrison might be cast as Captain Rex with Ahsoka, or we might see a flashback with Captain Rex in it, but not a Boba Fett. I think his armor will be in there. But
okay. I feel like I recently read though that Tamara Morrison's agency released information of him playing Boba Fett.
Okay, that's a little bit of a game changer.
He did not have that information before his previous statements.
So let's retract that statement, maybe?
No,
you're sticking to it?
I'm sticking to it as of right now because I like that statement.
Well, and then when you say it, we get the opposite. So, yes, we're not getting Boba Fett, right?
Yes.
All right, the next thing that I have here to talk about is the incredible action that we get. IG-11 shines. He shows up downtown Navarro, and he wrecks.
Mm-hmm.
And the child, the scene with his ears flopping in the wind, laughing, perfection. Beautiful.
Do it.
And the E-Web scene when Din Djarin finally comes out there, lifts that thing, and just goes to town.
Yep.
Great stuff out there in the, I guess, downtown square. I don't know.
Yeah.
In the bones of Navarro, I guess.
In front of
it
the
goes
bar.
down. Yeah. And then we get the incredible scene, and I forgot how much I enjoyed it. I got moved when the child lifts his hands and protects the crew, the
Stops
squad,
fire.
from the fire.
Yeah.
My question is, how does it get better than that for future seasons? Like, what else could this little baby do that beats that?
Force lightning.
Force lightning. Okay.
He's going to lean full into the force choke that he had in, was it 7?
Yes.
Yeah.
Previous
he's gonna fully
chapter.
lean into that.
Him wielding the darksaber one day when he's grown.
Dude, that would be really cool. I still kind of want to see Din Djarin get it first, though.
Yeah, but then Din passes it down
Passes it on to his kid.
son.
Yeah.
If they hand him off to Ahsoka, though, he's going to hold it backwards. Would you like that? The darksaber backwards?
I don't know if that fits aesthetically.
But that's how
if
she
that-
holds hers. If she was
or-
teaching him, she's like, no,
True.
this is the way.
I mean, I could try
Do
it.
you want to try it?
I don't know.
We have new
I mean,
props.
we have this prop here, the dark saber here.
Wasn't it-
Let's-
Darksaber. Yeah, that just doesn't look
that
right.
just kind of, well, first of all, I'm holding it, so yeah,
You look
that,
like Miss
that looks
Shawn.
weird.
off
Who?
of The Walking Dead.
See, I've never watched The Walking Dead.
I haven't watched it and I didn't never finish it, but because it went on forever.
It's still going.
That's
oh,
like
is it really?
Yeah.
Grey's Anatomy,
That's the
dude.
dumbest show now.
Like Grey's Anatomy, how long has that been going
yeah,
now?
how many sick people can you get?
Well, that is kind of.
I mean, we are in COVID times.
Yeah, I was about to say,
True.
pay attention to the times, Nolan.
yeah.
Has Grey's started doing episodes about COVID?
Oh,
Are they going to?
if not, then they're missing an untapped market right now.
True.
Yeah,
Let's-
but The Walking Dead, like the world should have ended like a 10 years ago.
About that though, The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
I think
back
it,
to.
I think it's
I
on
thought we were talking about the darks.
well, just one little
This is
pin
Mando Talks Walking Dead.
review. Yeah,
Talking Dead.
I think it's like season
Dead.
9 or 10, and I think it's the last season. So they're finally wrapping.
God, I
up.
wish it
They're
would be.
But there's like 2 spinoffs. So
But like
it's
that what's that little Michonne that has
Michonne, yeah.
yeah.
Dude, good call on the name. How long has it been since you watched Talking Dead?
I stopped watching it season 3.
Same.
I stopped watching before it ever came out.
Okay,
Am I
so
missing anything?
The first couple seasons when they
depends
came out
on who
were
you
good.
ask. Yeah. It gets old. Like, okay, well, let's go over here. Oh, there's some more survivors. Oh, we're going to fight them. Oh, we're all going to die.
The thing though,
Golly.
and we're
zombies. Wow.
we're
Are
taking
we
it-
talking Star Wars?
we're taking a huge detour. Last one for sure. It starts out where the zombies are a real threat, and then I feel like it becomes like The Young and the Restless, where it's just drama,
Okay.
and that's where I kind of hopped
Well,
off.
I just can't really get into a show where
Yeah, they're like stabbing people in the head in their sleep.
you say that the beginning's good, but it doesn't finish good. So why should I commit? I guess is kind of.
You watched Game of Thrones.
Oh, hold on.
Burned.
Well, first of all, I would respect that opinion if
I
you
had
watched
watched
it
it.
yourself.
But I've heard so many stories, so you can't.
Okay,
you
that's
can't-
fair. That's a fair
that's a good
point.
one.
That's a fair point, man. Yeah, I'm kind of upset now that we're talking. I hope the Mandalorian doesn't go down that route
Oh,
where
no.
where we do this entire podcast and we
Well-
finally get to the end and we can't stand the last season.
I would be very disappointed. However, if you look at the creators and the writers, their other
True.
works in
Yeah.
game, incredible. So, if there ever is an end game for Mandalorian, have no doubt in my mind. With the team of directors that he has,
Yeah, it seems like Favreau
no doubt in my mind.
can pull whatever director he wants to get in this. Honestly,
Yeah, I would work for him.
yeah. Listen, the next big reveal is obviously Din Djarin's face. It still kind of just shocks me anytime that and I know it's Pedro when they're going to show him,
Yeah.
but still for some reason, I don't know if it fits. And I don't know why I feel that way, but you create like this image in your head of who's under there throughout the entire season, and then when you finally see him, it's like, is that kind of what I expected? But again, I knew going into it that it was Pedro.
Right.
So that kind of fixed itself. And I still always, it cracks me up listening to my dad talk about The Mandalorian. He always thought that it was going to be Clint Eastwood because he had no clue. He had no clue who the actor was or who was supposed
Right.
to be Din Djarin. And honestly, listening to him talk about it made me kind of be like, man, that would be cool.
Or
Because this really old dude
what's
is
his,
under there
Scott?
just doing all this stuff.
what's his son's name? Scott
Scott Eastwood.
Yeah, that would have been cool too.
Yeah. But regardless, it's a cool reveal. how much do you think we're going to see Pedro Pascal actual face in season 2?
Well, there was those rumors that if it's not a lot, he's out. So we'll see.
I'm not buying those rumors
I'm
now
not.
because he's now kind of going heavy with promoting this thing. Like they're doing these new things called Mando Mondays. Star Wars Lucasfilm is where they're kind of releasing like new toys and new merch every Monday. And I think Pedro is the first guest, so I don't think he would be wasting his time doing that stuff if he wasn't still invested.
He's kind of a main guy, though, so...
Does he get paid per viewer? How does that work? Do you know? I
have no clue.
Okay.
Are you talking about like contract for the show?
Yeah.
That's an interesting question because obviously movies are salaried or or a big check. I don't know how it's dispersed to them, but how are
I would like to know.
How are TV performers paid? Like by the click, just salary,
I would say it's a contract. So like, when they say, okay, we want you to play this part, and okay, here we go into the negotiation over a contract, and you go back and forth. Okay, I want this amount of money and this and this and this.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a fixed, like it might not be one lump sum, but it'll be payments throughout. Right. Like once we get halfway through filming, we're going to give you this much, and once we get done with it, and that kind of goes into the budgeting of the film is your cast,
Right.
Now as far as promotions and what the movie ends up making, I don't know. Do they have a percentage or do they get some?
I know with box office, they do sometimes. Depends on the film.
I was about to say, I'm sure it's like sports contracts. You can like bet on yourself and be like, this movie's going to blow up, so I'll take a percentage. Or you can probably just be like, I want an outright.
Yeah.
Right. If you think it's going to suck, you just take bet. I'm like, okay, well, you guys can just pay me this now.
Like, I hope actors and actresses didn't take percentage of Solo because it did not perform well in the box office.
It come out in poor timing.
Poor timing. I think so too. I think that film was really good.
Solo 2 will be much better.
If there ever is one, man. If there ever is one.
There will be.
Okay, if you say so. So, anyway, back to Din Djarin's face. We're just going off on these tangents. I think we are going to see Pedro a little bit more than just what we got in this season.
I think we will, but I think it'll be so going back to like, was it episode 2 or
4 whenever he's teasing it?
Yes.
On Sorgan?
So, yeah, 4. They kind of hint that he can't take it off in front of anybody but like his loved ones and like nobody else.
Okay.
Well, now that the armor has said, hey, this is your child, I think he'll take it off in front of the child.
Okay. I can
now
see
that he's a clan of 2.
Yeah,
so
that's fair.
I think he will take it off in front of the child probably around episode 3 or 4.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think
Pedro
it'll come sooner than it did the first season for sure because we've seen it now.
Yeah. It's no surprise who it is now, and like you guys were saying a while back, it's a big actor to keep masked,
to keep covered.
He's unmasked now.
Yeah.
So I think we'll see him. Like maybe when they're riding in the Razor Crest or something,
he'll take it off.
Maybe not take it off, but like we see him enter the cockpit and put it back on or something, like a glimpse, not necessarily like the whole thing.
Right.
He's not just riding around with
like
it off.
Kylo Ren in The Last Jedi to where it's just gone.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that.
So.
No Last Jedi plug there, BA. I mean, I brought it up. You're
Moving
just gonna
forward.
sit there.
Moving forward.
No,
Let's
good,
move
it's
this
good,
forward.
It's good vibes tonight.
Okay, good vibes. The armor. So Din and the crew escape. Din barely makes it alive because of IG-11. The armor gives Din his mission for Season 2, and it's actually the lines that we hear in the first trailer that we got for Season 2. He gives his mission, which is to find the child's species / Jedi / I guess other Mandalorians now. Like, I don't know. It could be all of the above at some point. He gets his jetpack. He gets more whistling birds, and obviously we know we're going to get some more of that in Season 2 with the trailers that we've gotten. And incredible scene, and I forgot about it, the armor protecting them as they were escaping.
So
Yes.
one-man wrecking crew.
Wow. And the sheer like destruction of the stormtrooper helmets was great.
Getting
Yes.
completely shattered.
Shattered,
Yeah, you gotta be able to take a hit if you're gonna be around her.
no doubt. Now,
We definitely see her season 2.
that was going to be my question,
Okay.
man. But
I'm-
how much is my concern? Like, I'm afraid that Din is going in directions that she doesn't play a part in. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think we'll see her until episode 8,
Like the last one,
the last one. I don't-
whenever he's finished the mission for the season.
or maybe he
Whenever
realizes.
he needs a holster for the Darksaber.
Okay, interesting take there.
You guys,
Just
you
to-
guys serious? You think he's
throwing-
gonna get it that quick?
No, I don't think he's getting it this season.
No way. If he gets it this season, okay. So Moff Gideon, do you
Show's
think?
over. This is the last season.
Well, no. Let me ask
No,
you
we
this.
know that's not the case.
So we know diving into Moff Gideon, we will see him. But diving into that character, do you think we'll get a bigger bad guy?
Not this season, I don't think.
So you think Moff Gideon's going to be the sole bad guy the whole episode?
Well, we're gonna get
Or
like
the
our
whole season?
we're gonna get like our side little villains like we did in season 1.
Right, but
But
like
like
the
the main
main one?
overarching villain for this season, I still think is Moff. Now there might be a possibility where we find out who his, because there's always a next man up until you somehow run into Palpatine. Who knows if that connection's out there? But I think season 2 is still Moff's season. I'm stumbling my words, man.
Yeah, no, I think he'll be the bad guy most of the season, but I think we'll be introduced to a bigger,
A bigger one.
well, maybe through a hologram. Like we might see him getting his orders from whoever.
If they bring Snoke into this,
Moff
Snoke,
Gideon. No, I don't think you're seeing Snoke.
No, but like whoever his boss is.
Snoke's boss?
No, Moff's.
That's Palpatine.
I was gonna say
I don't know.
Snoke's his daddy Palp, dude. The one and only. Well,
Yeah,
the two and only.
That's an interesting question, though. Like, who is next in command after Moff at this point in the state of the galaxy?
I think
I
if-
guess it could be Snoke, but I don't see how Palpatine's been pumping out those clones currently. I don't know. What were you gonna say, BA?
I think with his war crimes, he's been exiled, and those are just ones that followed him. I think he's the big bad of this group.
Well, he
Okay.
hasn't been exiled from the Empire. He's been exiled from the New Republic, and because that's who his war crimes were with. His war crimes weren't with the Empire.
I still think he's his own show, but I could be wrong.
Could
like
be.
you think he's no longer
You think
doing
he's a
the
gangster?
Empire's orders. He's just doing what he
Well, I mean,
wants.
I think he's still like chaotic. Like he still has evil tendencies, but he's not
Yeah.
like under their control. Like he's like separated.
Okay, question for both of you then.
Okay.
If he's not up under anybody's control, as you say,
Just a thought.
I know it's just thought, but
Just a
let's roll with that for a second.
Okay, let's roll
So
with it.
say he's his own guy and he
Mhm.
doesn't have anybody telling him what to do. There's nobody over him. He's
Okay.
just Moff Gideon.
All right.
What does he want with the child?
That's a good question. Maybe he is somehow force sensitive. And
Does he
he's
get his
wanting-
powers from, or do you think he's taking the midichlorians out of him? And in,
He's like blood sucking, but he's taking out
He's a vampire.
midichlorians instead. No, that's an interesting question, and honestly, I don't know.
okay, say
we
there
need-
is somebody over him. What does he want with Baby Yoda?
Right, we need to know who the main villain is behind all of this. I don't think that Moff is acting on his own, though.
He says you have something that I want.
True, but in the original Star Wars, Grand Moff Tarkin acts like he's the head guy because we don't even know who Palpatine is at that point.
So
But
you
we all
think-
know Vader is more
Okay.
powerful than Tarkin.
You just said something that makes sense to me now. So we have Moff Gideon, right? You said Grand Moff Tarkin.
Right.
So do you think there's a Grand Moff that's over the Moffs?
What if his name's Grand Moff Gideon and we just haven't been calling him Grand?
Because I feel like, do they say Moff Tarkin? Or do they say Grand Moff Tarkin?
They sometimes say Moff, but more than likely Grand.
So that's a rank.
Right, but who do we hear really talk to him in this season to be like, oh, it's Grand Moff, other than the client?
Well, you hear Din
Oh,
say
okay,
it.
yeah, okay.
And
okay,
then
I'm with you now.
You hear the scout troopers say Moff Gideon.
Right.
So they're not saying Grand Moff Gideon.
I got you.
So maybe that's the rank. And when you get to Grand Moff, you're over several Moffs.
Yeah. See, I still think he's an Inquisitor, though. And,
I have
knowing
no doubt.
and knowing things from Rebels, Inquisitors are really kind of they go out, they're given their mission, and then from that point they kind of take their own crew and they're the leader of that crew. But it's an interesting point though, or question or something to consider: is Moff doing his own thing, or is he being told what to do? And I can't help but and it's just Star Wars has put this in me, but anytime a villain is doing something and there's hints to somebody in the background telling this person what to do, it's hard to not disassociate Palpatine with that. And I do not want necessarily Palpatine to somehow be associated with Moff Gideon. I would personally prefer Moff Gideon being his own main bad and not really working for anybody. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's really hard for me to kind of predict it because I feel like it's just something that we might get answers to eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully. It's got to be.
Like
I'm trying to find.
I thought you just checked out on us. I was like, well, he's
Okay,
checking his emails or
okay.
text.
So appointed ranks. These are the insignias for the Moffs.
Okay.
So there is Moff, and then above that is Grand Moff,
Right.
and then above that is Grand Admiral
Grand Admiral.
for the
Okay.
Galactic Empire rank insignia.
Okay.
And then you have like Imperial Army ranks. There's, Sergeant, Lieutenant, Captain, Commander, Major, Colonel, and General. And then the Imperial Navy.
I don't think we're ever gonna find an answer to this question until we see it.
I was about to say,
But there is a difference between Grand Moff and Moff.
Right. No doubt.
And then General or Grand Admiral is over. So do we know of any Grand Admirals?
Thrawn.
Oh.
Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's more so like comics and books and things of that nature that
So
we could dig into, but
it
man,
is a
that would take
possibility that there is a Grand Moff.
Hold up. There's a possibility that Grand Admiral Thrawn is still out there because at the end of Rebels, which they bring him back in Rebels, him and the main Jedi vanish and they go away. So
You heard it first here, folks.
Grand Admiral Thrawn is still out there. And again, Dave Filoni, the king of Star Wars animation, is one of the producers behind The Mandalorian. So it is very likely that Thrawn could somehow be connected to Moff Gideon.
you want to go on record and say that for the fans?
Yeah. Yeah, we do.
In our own headcanon, I would love to.
That
until
is
I'm
how
proven
it's
wrong.
happening. That's got to be how it's going to
Absolutely.
happen.
And now we've ruined it. It's no longer going to happen. We apologize.
It's not going to mess up our win-loss record because we're
You think about it. They like surprising people and
We're
but
like
bringing
the
stuff
Miami
back in it.
Dolphins of-
That is
hey, they're
it.
doing good, dude.
So
Are they?
you
Yeah.
guys heard
I
it
haven't
first
They're
seen
here.
second in their division. We're
Grand
just talking.
Admiral Thrawn is the boss of Moff Gideon. So we need to know who is in between Grand Admiral Thrawn, which is Moff Gideon's boss's boss. Yeah,
What if it's Allegiant Pride?
you guys heard it first here.
What if it's Allegiant Pride, the guy from The Rise of Skywalker, who says that he's been serving Palpatine ever since the beginning, and he just shows up in Episode 9 randomly? You know who I'm talking about? So it's Moff, then it's him, and then it's Grand Admiral Thrawn. We're going down a rabbit.
We got to wrap it up. Wrap it up, boys.
Okay. I like at least Thrawn being connected to this somehow. BA, you got
That's
to
our
admit
thumbnail.
that, man.
Sure, I'll give you
Okay.
guys that to get Nolan off his soapbox.
I'm just saying. Like, so we
Y'all
might
are
not.
gonna have to carry the show. The rest of-
Well, I was just thinking,
Check him.
there's got to be somebody that he answers to. Got to be.
right.
Because
Unless he's on his own.
in the Empire or whatever they are, there's always they're really strict on chain of command.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until you get to either Palpatine or Snoke or whoever's in charge right now, you're gonna
It's
work
Grand
your way
Admiral
up.
Thrawn.
Yeah, it is. It is.
He'll be connected to it somehow, if not mentioned. Somehow he maybe trained Moff Gideon or something. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows?
I don't know. Let's keep going, though. Okay, we are going to wrap up this show. BA's just like on the edge of his seat, ready to, just get out of here and quit listening to mine and Nolan's ridiculous theories.
Y'all just
It's not ridiculous.
digging
And if it happens,
Dude, if it happens, we're going to go ballistic.
we got one right.
bringing a cowbell. Ding, 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 ding. We got
Yeah.
one right.
Hey,
If that happens, we'll do another giveaway.
you know, Hall of Fame baseball hitters, 3 for 10. As long as we bat 300, we're Hall of Fame level.
Man, if you think about that, we're like way below average.
Yeah, we
About like 1 for 10, maybe.
All right, guys, let's move on. Let's move on. IG-11, he gets his moment. He self-destructs to allow the squad to escape. Great moment.
A perfect arc for that
BA, I want
character.
you to talk
Do you
about
think
it
he's coming
because
back in season 2?
no, IG-11's gone. But I want you to talk about IG-11 because I know you keep saying this is your favorite moment.
Dude, because it's like how the whole scene was set up. They're in a gondola in lava, so they can't go anywhere. The gondolier driver, the
Droid.
the droid,
Yeah.
R2-D2 with legs, he gets shot by Cara Dune, so they're literally drifting. There's nothing they can do, and so he just steps up with this sacrifice, and I thought it was a cool visual of seeing him walking through the lava toward the exit.
It was a cool visual.
Yeah.
Now, it quickly, because we're like, oh, they escaped, but quickly we hear that TIE fighter roaring, and we see Moff Gideon. He's back. Again, I don't know if he's trying to kill him or, again, we know his mission is to get the child, so I'm assuming he's just going to kill whoever stands in his way. But Din finally uses that jetpack, and it was rough at first. He finally gets onto that TIE fighter. He takes it down. We think Moff Gideon's dead, but of course he's not. First of all, the squad separates. They go their separate ways, and we're going to see them pick right back up, I'm assuming, because in the trailers that we've gotten, Cara and Greef both are still on Navarro, and we know that Mando is going back to Navarro, so we're not done with the planet. But before we leave the episode, Moff Gideon with the Darksaber, the biggest not the biggest, the child was the biggest twist of Season 1. I think the second biggest twist was Moff Gideon having that Darksaber.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
So, that is still the biggest thing that I look forward to, is getting more Moff Gideon with the Darksaber. And not even necessarily Moff Gideon. I just want more with the Darksaber. Like, I want to know how he came into possession of that, and I want to know who it's going to eventually move on to next, because we know it's going to go to somebody else at some point, because that just kind of seems how it would trend, at least in my mind, but who knows. What are your general thoughts on the finale, the Darksaber, Chapter 8, everything about it? Let's just do like a circle around the table to wrap this thing up.
Expectations are high, which
Ooh.
Going into Season 2?
with
Oh,
with
man.
Star Wars though, that typically leads to disappointment. But
Yeah.
I will say it's a TV show, first live action TV show, right, of Star Wars. So
Right.
it's a fresh start. It's a chance for them to get it right, and I think they will.
Okay. Now, I was thinking about that earlier today, too. And, man, after The Force Awakens, I thought they could not get it wrong. And I thought everything was smooth sailing. And then, of course, when Episode 8 came out, there was backlash. I really don't want that. I'm going to be really, really, really bummed if somehow Season 2 bombs.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind the creators and the directors that we have, and it's not directed by Loser Johnson.
Come on now. Come on.
Again, he got his retribution last week. He makes good movies.
He
Knives
makes
Out
good
is
movies, but maybe not as
Not
great
good
as
Star Wars
Wars movies. But hey, there are good things about The Last Jedi. We're doing positive vibes only from
Positive
BA.
vibes only from BA.
Not
So
from him.
I liked everything about Chapter 8, Redemption.
Okay. Everything.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it sets up perfectly. My excitement level is peaked, and I'm ready for 7 days from now.
6 days when they're listening.
True.
6 days when you guys are listening.
6 days from
Or
now.
it could be like at the end of season 2 when you guys are listening. If you are going to be new to Mando Talk, you're listening.
True. Whenever you're listening.
Whoa, bro.
Whenever this is released, we will be 6 days away from season 2.
Okay, glad
And
we got
are
that cleared up.
extremely excited for it. That's all
Yes,
I know.
We are.
And it's going to be great to finally sit down and review fresh content. We haven't done that since the Clone Wars, which seems
Yeah.
like it was like years
Seems
ago.
forever ago, yeah. Yeah.
But regardless, make sure again, and I'll say this plug one last time, you are checking out at Mando Talk on Twitter and Facebook to get in our giveaway. We're having a lot of fun with it. Just check out the rules. You'll see it on our profiles and do the things that it asks, and then you will be entered into possibly winning the Mando Talk merch, the Funko Pop bobblehead, and you'll get a chance to be on our show. Next week, we're going to have a great episode. Do not miss it. We are finally going to get to sit down and talk about The Mandalorian Season 2. BA, thank you for being here, as always, even though I think it's kind of time for me to just not even worry about saying that anymore because you're here almost every week. So we'll just kind of, I don't know.
Hey, he never tells me thanks, but
Thanks for being here, Nolan.
Man,
I
you're welcome.
appreciate it, dude.
I'm glad to be here with all of you.
There's nobody else that I'd rather have across from me. There's no one else that I'd rather have right here to my left. Jacob, if you're listening, we haven't seen you in a while, so you should get here. And I'm sure he'll show up whenever the first episode drops.
Hopefully.
He's just too busy for us until then, you know?
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. Have a great week. Have a blessed week. And we will see you 6 days from now for Season 2 of The Mandalorian.
We have spoken.